My goodness, ladies and gentlemen, y'all know we gotta go through tweet for tweet everything that Floyd Schofield Sr. had to say yesterday during Abdullah Mason versus Albert Bell's fight, after the fight, this morning, and also an hour and a half ago. Floyd Schofield Sr. has not stopped going off on Abdullah Mason. Ladies and gentlemen, he said things like, Mason got exposed. He said things like, Albert Bell is the true champion. He says things like, the fight was rigged. The ref was rigged. Number one, that's actually something that I may agree with Floyd Schofield Sr. in when it comes to this fight. If anything was rigged, it was the goddamn ref's decision to stop that fight. But he says, even the judges were rigged, which, ladies and gentlemen, y'all may not agree with those judges' scorecards. I don't agree with the decisions to give Abdullah Mason's round 2 and 3 and some of their scorecards. I don't agree with that at all. But I agree with my scorecard. And on my scorecard, with the knockdowns, if you didn't stop that fight at the end of round 12, at the beginning of round 12, in the second knockdown, Abdullah would have won either way. But he went off, ladies and gentlemen, on Abdullah Mason. And I've got every tweet right here to read to you guys. Starting off with during the fight, Floyd Schofield Sr. says, Albert Bell has 9 knockouts. Bell has no power at all. Imagine what kid would do to Mason, seeing what Albert Bell, the success that he was able to have on him from rounds 2 to 6. Then on his next post, he says, Mason got exposed with exclamation marks. Then ends up posting, and this is who you compare kid to? Smoke and mirrors. And then posts again, I believe that the ref was allegedly paid off. Something seems real fishy. Like I said, I'm not going to sit here and disagree with them. Very, very fishy, ladies and gentlemen. Then he goes on and reposts what Ryan Garcia had to say. Bad stoppage. But it was truly inevitable. Devin Haney says, worst stoppage I ever seen. He reposts what Coach Bradman had to say. Bradman Edwards. Mark Nelson is allegedly corrupt. He was the referee in Pacquiao versus Jeff Horn, Carlos Adames versus Austin Almo Williams, Alexander Usyk versus Tyson Fury 1, and now Mason versus Bell. No way this is a coincidence. Floyd Schofield Sr. reposting. Then he reposts what Lamont Roach Jr. had to say. Saying, that's f***ed up. Damn. As they stop the fight in the second knockdown in round 12, ladies and gentlemen. That all was last night. Then he wakes up this morning and drops a video on us where he says Albert Bell is the true champion, where he blames boxing politics, which we're going to give my opinion on at the end after I'm done giving you guys all these tweets. But I'm going to show you that video right now. First he says, Floyd, congratulations, Albert Bell, for a great performance. Sorry, the politics of boxing robbed you. That ref should never work again. Here's the video.
Congratulations, Albert Bell. Congratulations. I want to shout you out. Because no crap on you. Knowing that you don't got all that power, with only 9 knockouts, knowing that you was out of the ring almost like a year, the fact that you turned around and won that title, because you was winning that, no matter how they was bull crapping on the scorecards, no matter how rigged boxing is, you deserve your kudos because you performed good, Albert Bell. So keep your head up. We know they robbed you. We already know. Good job, young man. And for those comparing Abdullah the kid, man, y'all better stop playing with us. Stop playing. Congratulations, Albert Bell. Sorry that it turned out that way, but you did your job.
So he says all that. And then an hour ago, drops The exact moment that the ref stopped the fight, the last combination, the last little interaction that Albert Bow and Abdullah Mesa went through, where, yes, it did look like Albert Bow just kind of fell down, looking like he was trying to grab the legs of Abdullah Mason while Abdullah Mason pushes him down. He says, what punch landed? That ref should be investigated and bank accounts should be looked at. Which he does have a great point on. Mason would have won, yes, but we don't need that wax. The ref done. Then he posts again, which this is a post that he actually deleted. I don't know if it's because the way he typed it wasn't really, sounding, making sense. But he said, what landed? No shade on Mason, but that ref was totally out of pocket. There's no way he didn't see Mason push Mr. Bow down. He looked right at him. Look with your eyes. No hate. How can boxing improve if we just ignore the bullshit? Floyd Schofield Sr. going off on Abdullah Mason. Is he correct when it comes to all this? Well, let me give you my opinion on the video that he dropped. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, we may argue all we want that the ref could have been bought out, rigged. I don't know. Very suspicious stoppage. One of the worst stoppages that we've seen. I don't know if it's as bad as Barroso versus Raleigh Romero stoppage, but it's pretty bad. Ladies and gentlemen, it's up there. But when it comes to the judge's scorecard, bro, forget about the judge's scorecard who had Abdullah Mason winning. I had Abdullah Mason winning round 1. I had Albert Bow winning round 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. He dominated the first half of the fight, winning 5 rounds out of 1. Some people gave him more. I didn't. I don't agree with round 2 and round 3 for Abdullah Mason. No. But what I do agree with is round 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. All going to Abdullah Mason. It's clear here, bro. It's clear that the fight completely switched once we hit the second half. Albert Bow slowed down. Started to fight defensively. No longer was fighting the same way he was in the second half due to Abdullah Mason's pressure. Abdullah Mason figured out that he couldn't just trade with this guy for skill, but had to make this a dirty fight, which he did. All the body work starting to accumulate. And by that second half of the fight, Albert Bow, who had never fought in a 12-round fight before in his career, even though he had a ridiculous experience gap, even though he had all the advantages going into this fight, Abdullah Mason was gonna win that fight. I had it 5-5 after round 10. Round 11, Abdullah Mason wins it. Only way for me to see this as a draw is if Albert Bow wins round 12. And no, not only did he not win it, but he got dropped. Okay, let's forget about the second knockdown. Let's just say the ref doesn't even call that a knockdown. More like a push from Abdullah Mason down. It's still a 10-8 round, bruh. Albert could have possibly got knocked out if that fight would have continued. There was still like 2 minutes left. So this whole talk about, look at Floyd Sr. has been talking about boxing a lot, and so have we. Certain sanctioning bodies, certain decisions, certain moves in the sport have been, it's completely political and completely corrupt. The reffing, most definitely, it's not just Mark Nelson. But there's a bunch of refs that are very suspicious of, most definitely. But to cry wolf, but to say, this whole thing was rigged and that Albert Bow is the true champion, he was going to win. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a false narrative. That is Senior running his mouth. Now, Senior says that we can't even compare Abdullah Mason to his son after that performance. Don't get me wrong. Floyd Schofield Jr., as soon as he beat Tevin Farmer, bro, we gave him all the respect in the world. I went on Cigar Talk with Najee and explained how much more interested I am in seeing a fight with Abdullah Mason. We seen the sparring footage that got leaked of just one round. That's Floyd Schofield Jr. says there were still 3 more rounds of that we didn't see, but we seen that. And all we seen was Abdullah Mason beating the hell out of Junior. Completely outskilling him. But then we see Junior come out with a first-round knockout against Tevin Farmer, and I was on there making the argument that this has got a whole lot interesting. And I believe it's a 50-50 fight with Abdullah Mason. But nowhere do I think Floyd Schofield Jr. is beyond the round, beyond the skill of Abdullah Mason, that he deserves to be in the rings with guys like Tank Davis and Shakur Stevenson, that he'd be giving them good fights. They believe that. Of course, Senior is gonna say that. He was saying that they will knock out Shakur Stevenson if that fight ever got remade and actually happened, and that they would sleep Gervonta Tank Davis. So if you believe you can knock these dudes out, and Lamar Rhodes Jr., you think you can knock all these dudes out, then of course you're gonna think you can knock out Abdullah Mason. But is Senior just speaking out of his ass here, ladies and gentlemen? What I've seen from Abdullah Mason, I think I've seen more. He's impressed me more. I've seen more skills from the man than what I've seen of Floyd Schofield Jr. Although Jr. hasn't been the type of adversity that Abdullah Mason has been in, what I've seen is for a 22-year-old to be put through adversity, but get through it, which is harder than anything, adapt to it, learn through it, which is all gaining experience, and find yourself as the victor at the end of it. Bruh, all the odds were stacked against him in the fight against Albert Bow, who started his career in 2013 compared to Abdullah Mason 2021. Bruh, y'all seen the photos of Albert Bow and Abdullah Mason as a kid. This dude lost the first half of the fight. Why? Because experience and skill level, there was a separation in the styles. Abdullah had to adjust, and he adjusted fast enough to end up grabbing a grasp of this fight before it even got to round 11 and 12. He made it a draw by round 11. Rather than coming on late, starting late. Starting late like in round 9, 10, 11, and 12. No. He started in round 7, got round 1, adjusted to end up being a better fighter than Albert Bow. Y'all don't understand how hard that actually is to do. We still have yet to see Floyd Schofield Jr. be put in some type of moment like that and then adjust. So far, I still got Abdullah Mason as just a slightly favorite 55-45 when it comes to a fight with Floyd Schofield Jr. Slight, but I think Senior is completely wrong when he talks about don't even put them in the same round. Belief is belief, but facts are one thing, ladies and gentlemen. I want y'all to let me know in the comments how y'all feel about this. Floyd Schofield Sr. going off on Abdullah Mason, backing up Albert Bow. Y'all should expect this. We know the rivalry. My goodness, I just want to see them fight, man. Enough of the talking, Senior. I know you said that you tried to set this fight up 2 times and they denied it. But come on, man. At some point, y'all keep running your mouth like this. The fight just has to happen, dog. We got to figure out how to make this fight happen. But y'all got to let me know in the comments what you guys think, man.